What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Let's get into it. This is going to be the final part of Fat, the documentary. I'll see you guys in the video. Peace. What's going on, everyone? James, the Carnivore Florida Man Simon's coming at you. Today is April 4th, going to day 55 of the Carnivore Diet. Sorry, not being able to leave the house and this whole quarantine thing is weird. So you notice I got my ears on today because Disney World's closed forever, so I don't know where I'm going to be able to wear these again, so I thought it'd be fun. Yeah, let's get into the video. I believe this should probably be the last part of this series, and then we'll move forward from there. All right, let's get to it.
Plus, he was a big producer, and he had the means. He went to the top doctors in the United States. And at the time, Charlie was averaging about a dozen seizures a day and 4 anti-epileptic medicines. If you were a critically ill kid, what would your choice be? Do you want to drug him? Do you want to cut his brain? Or do you want to change what he eats? And it just seems so obvious to me. This is not to blame doctors. Doctors are spread really thin, and they have to try to do the best they can.
That's proved nowadays, guys. I mean, if you're watching the news, the healthcare system that we have in the United States was not prepared for this at all. I mean, they weren't. I mean, you see videos of doctors, nurses, care providers, they're all just completely overworked and completely overwhelmed. And I mean, if you look at the stats every day like I do, it just keeps going up. I mean, it just keeps going up more and more and more, and people need more stuff. Healthcare providers need more stuff to take care of this, and it's true. I mean, the healthcare providers and the healthcare system we have in general is just not made for what's happening right now, and it's not, functional really. And it explains a lot why people nowadays are, going online to figure out what's wrong with them. A big reason why the ketogenic diet made such a splash because it was so simple to people. People just thought, okay, well, I always knew carbs were bad, so I'm just going to stop eating those, but what should I do then? And then people started coming out with this. Now, of course, there's going to be all kinds of, sorry, I was stretching my arm, all kinds of different fads and stuff like that, but I mean, this is something that's dates back to years, and why the big carnivore wave is going now. People are even making it even simpler than that. And a lot of people, they don't stick with it forever. My whole thing is I want to lose as much weight as possible, so to take out that factor, that's what I'm doing. Granted, I wish I could go to the gym more, because I miss, and if I had the money to build my own gym, oh man, that'd be so helpful right now. I started looking into buying a storage unit and just trying to, put equipment in there, but another pin in my future, but I'm still trying to go out and walk, and I'm still trying to do, exercises here at the house as much as possible, push-ups, sit-ups. I got a couple dumbbells. I just ordered some bands from Westside Barbell. Big shout out to them. Really thankful. They sent me their, this isn't paid. This is something I bought just because I'm a big fan of theirs and Louis Simmons, and just the crazy workout style they have over there with powerlifters. I mean, it's just pure brute force and just brute strength. I mean, it reminds you of like the Mongolias or like the old not like the gladiators that we, decided that were just slaves, but like, like the old Spartan warriors, the ones that just get each other hyped up before battle and stuff like that. But I ordered some bands from them to start doing some band exercises as well. But yeah, it's not anybody's real fault. Everyone's just trying to figure this out. Did some people try to make money off of it? Yes. Were there a couple crazy lunatics like Kellogg? Yeah. There were, but I mean, that comes with anything. There's still cults nowadays. I mean, like, it's not going to be perfect. All you can do is try your best. Back to this.
But it was Jim who figured out on his own by going to a library in the hospital and
always read. Look as much information you can, guys.
That showed the ketogenic diet as being the best way to deal with seizures in infants. The book claimed that experts here in Baltimore
John Hopkins
were perfecting
Hospital.
something called the ketogenic diet. A diet consisting largely of something most doctors tell us to avoid. I called Dr. Freeman from Johns Hopkins, told him about Charlie, and he said, send us medical records. We did. And he said, we'll bring Charlie out to Hopkins and we'll try the diet. And we started and in 2 days the seizures were gone.
2 days, seizures gone.
2 days.
Jim was angry and puzzled that none of the 6 doctors he went to for help ever mentioned the diet.
Well, Charlie's seizures has been in existence for 70 years. It's been sitting there. It was waiting for him.
You had some knowledge that this diet was probably working back at Johns Hopkins, and yet you dissuaded the Abrams from attempting it.
How come? Well, because I don't think we had exhaustive...
Dr. Donald Shields.
There were actually still other medications that we had.
There were still other medications they hadn't tried yet. All he wanted to do was change his diet, and it worked. More medications.
Have success.
Can you think of any drugs in these hard cases that have 50 to 70% success rate?
Probably not anything that comes up to that level.
In another month, Dr. Freeman weaned them off all 4 anti-epileptic medicines, and Charlie went from a prognosis of a lifetime of seizures and what they call progressive retardation to we got our son back, and his smile was back, and he was happy again.
Back to normal.
And our family could go in.
Normal kid again.
This is Charlie Abrams and his mom, Nancy. I've known him since birth. I watched his delightful personality emerge through a normal first year. I witnessed his debilitating battle with seizures and medicines. I rejoiced with his family when the ketogenic diet stopped his epilepsy.
Oh.
And now I derive strength and joy like so many of his other friends as we watch him begin to develop again. It's too early to tell whether the 9 months of pummeling from seizures and medicines did any permanent damage to Charlie's brain. If he has anything to say is the matter, I know they won't. However, it's not too early to tell that had Charlie's parents been informed about the existence of the ketogenic diet when he first got
Here comes
sick,
the sad music.
and about the success they've had with it at Johns Hopkins, a vast majority
It really
of
lures
Charlie's
you in, doesn't it? Like, you ever notice that in, like, those laziness commercials and stuff?
$100,000 worth of medical, surgical, and drug treatment would
You
not
zoom
be
the camera up, like, only you can help save the children.
Even today, 1.5 out of every 10,000 people with epilepsy who would benefit from the ketogenic diet are using it today. Doctors are not taught diet therapy or even nutrition in medical school. They just simply try an informal survey on your own. Next time you see a doctor, your doctor, any doctor say, when you were in medical school, how long were you, how much time did you spend investigating, learning about nutrition
And diet
I
therapy.
didn't really have much nutritional training like most doctors.
In 4 years of psychiatry training, we didn't talk about food once.
Instead of my training, I got nutrition. Let's see, let's talk about year 1, 2, 3, 4, then 4 years of residency, 0. 0. I got 0 in addiction too. Zero in nutrition, 0 in addiction. We were so damn busy taking care of illness, and trying
Sick
to
makes
push
money.
back and save lives, that trying to prevent illness was not really on our radar.
I feel angry. I'm pissed off. And again, I think that part of the reasons that the diet hasn't become more popular has nothing to do with efficacy at all. It has to do with revenue sources that are more lucrative. The ketogenic diet isn't that expensive. The problem is it doesn't generate revenue for the medical world.
It's true, it doesn't.
There are powerful forces at work in our medical system that have nothing to do with good health.
My patients have been getting fatter and sicker over the last few decades.
If you never go to the hospital, how do they make any money? You're perfectly fine, healthy. Who makes the money? You don't need medication. Who makes money off of that? Nobody. They make money off of sick people.
When you come into a clinic and there's patients with, with rotting flesh, and it is rotting flesh, and it smells bad.
Oh, yes, from diabetes.
It looks bad, and all you're doing is just trimming off a little bit of foot. Starts with a toe, starts with an ulcer, then it moves up the foot, and sometimes you get to a point after doing 2 or 3 operations, it's been going a couple of months, and then the decision is you've actually got to chop that leg off. there's something which really upsets me, and that's when you actually amputate someone's limb, there's the sound of actually dropping that leg into a bucket. I don't want anyone to hear that, that noise. It's just, it's just sickening. I started talking to my patients about reducing sugar, and the benefits were immediate.
You lose a foot just because you wanted sugar more than you wanted to walk.
Not only would all of their blood numbers get better, but in fact he would not have to end up chopping off a foot or a leg.
I then went to the hospital dietitian and said, hang on, this is really exciting, this stuff about sugar. Started talking about it to the staff, and then I started implementing a sugar reduction for my patients, only to find out that I was starting to tread on some big toes. The dietitians,
DAA, Dietitians Association of Australia, said shut your mouth.
started becoming involved in pressuring the hospital into silencing me.
We received evidence in Sydney from a medical practitioner in Tasmania, Dr. Gary Fenke. He gave the evidence to the committee in the morning of our hearing in Sydney. 3 hours later, he received an official caution from AHPRA. The first time I heard the story, I just thought it was a joke. The board's actual statement requires that doctors double-check that their personal beliefs don't compromise care, that they don't put their commercial interest in front of patients, and lastly, doctors should provide appropriate dietary advice.
Ultimately, the medical board made a ruling that I am now the only doctor, as far as we know in the world, to be banned from advising his patients to reduce their sugar and junk food intake. And if that sounds crazy, then that's what it is.
We recognise that
They told him to not tell his patients to stop eating so much sugar and junk food. They told him not to say that. Do you hear that? Do you hear what they're saying? They're telling him, your patient who's probably overweight, who may end up be losing their foot, their leg, their toes, the entire thing amputated, their life, because they are consuming so much sugar. And the doctor said, hey, calm down with that. And the doctor board said, shut your mouth. Horrible. Absolutely horrible.
Being subject to the notifications process for a practitioner can be an extraordinarily stressful thing because there are pretty serious issues at stake ultimately in terms of their practice of their profession and their reputation. And despite the fact that we are not punitive in our focus, we are protective in our focus, so our mandate is a public protection focus. We understand and appreciate that it may not feel like that.
Protecting the public. Go ahead, guys. Eat all the sugar you want. They're covering your back. Don't worry. When you lose your foot, they'll charge you for the wheelchair. And when you lose your leg, they'll charge you for the electric chair.
There's nothing extreme about it. Once you see the results of reducing sugar and carbs, particularly in diabetes, you can't unsee them.
At this point, I think there is active suppression of this science, and this has been going on since the 60s. One of the things that I found in my research, the biggest ever tested amplitude hypothesis was something called the Minnesota Coronary Survey. It was on more than 9,000 men and women in 5 Minnesota mental hospitals, which was a really well-controlled study because somebody in a hospital, you can control everything they're eating. They gave half the people what was considered a normal amount of saturated fat, regular milk, regular meat, cheese, butter, etc. The other half, they gave 9% saturated fat, soy-filled milk, soy-filled cheese, soy-filled burgers. They found that the people on the vegetable oil, soy-filled diet, there was no effect on cardiovascular mortality or total mortality. That study was not published for 16 years. One of the principal investigators, Ivan France, was asked by a journalist, why did you not publish the study? He said, well, there was really nothing wrong with it. We were just so disappointed.
Sorry, by the way, it came out.
Well, that's that's basically scientific fraud, not publishing your results.
I decided it didn't
diets contain.
They don't make it clearly. Those children are also children who have as many, they're in transit in childhood epilepsy. They have as many as 400 seizures a month. They're untreatable by drugs. They go on the diets, and the diets, I think it cures 33% of them. Cures them.
So you have epilepsy, and then they aren't able to think.
Today, Charlie is a elementary school teacher, has a certificate in early childhood education. He boxes, he plays piano, and we are beyond grateful every day for his outcome.
I'm not sure what would have become of me if my family hadn't found the ketogenic
April 2nd, 2008. That's him giving a speech.
But I doubt that today I would be an A student in high school with lots of friends. I doubt I would have been playing piano for the last 8 years, and I doubt I could hit an 8-iron 160 yards.
And they just couldn't accept that they were dealing with these intractable conditions. And not just pediatric epilepsy, but obesity is an intractable condition. Diabetes, type 2 diabetes is an intractable condition. Type 1 is, and here you have this diet that appears to put these conditions into remission. The establishment here, represented by our friends, and it's a little too dogmatic, and that we may never know the truth unless we acknowledge that there is a counter theory that has never been tested, and that the theory, more and more people are beginning to accept parts of the theory as being legitimate, and that it could answer a lot of problems, and it could even make it easier for Americans to lose weight.
People are able to reverse diabetes. People are able to lose weight sustainably. Most, if not all, cardiovascular risk factors are improved along the way on a lower carbohydrate diet. That diet ought to be at least considered.
If it turns out to be true, I'll be the first to change my mind, but show me the data.
Well, here's just one study that says that long-term ketosis reduces body weight, triglycerides, LDL, and blood glucose, and shows that it's safe to use a long-term ketogenic diet.
You can lose weight on a plant-based diet, you can lose weight on a ketogenic diet, but are you mortgaging your health when you do that? And the answer is yes. The ketogenic diet, when you look at the arteries of people who are animals who are on the ketogenic diet, they tend to be more clogged. Someone spent his whole career getting the wrong answer. Not only getting the wrong answer, getting the wrong answer that's dangerous. It's actually may have killed tens of thousands of hundreds of thousands of people, millions of people prematurely. There's no way to tell.
They're not going to go back.
And say you're wrong. Not only are you wrong, you're
Sorry for killing your family members because I was wrong. They're not going to say that.
so senseless what you've been doing, and you're killing people, and you have to switch. I don't think any human being. I mean, we're just not wired to be able to say, oh yeah, that's a good point. I get it. I see what you're saying, and I'm sorry. And if you're an institution like the American Heart Association, I mean, imagine the press release you would have to write. Dear American public, we're sorry if we killed prematurely your loved ones, your parents, and maybe we're killing you. But in retrospect, we shouldn't have given the advice we did.
Sorry about that.
You know, we think about corporations, our government, which is a corporation, and the first question is, do we blame them? Well, you can't hurt the government's feelings. You can't hurt corporations' feelings because corporations and governments are not people. They're machines. They're just big, giant machines. And any person in that machine is just a cog. And there's no way to hurt anyone's feelings or to get on anyone's bad side. It's just a machine that keeps running.
Decision of the nation, of the government, that at one time could tolerate 3 or 4 weeks of study now demand almost instantaneous reaction. The people of the United States recognize one by one, thousand by thousand, million by million, that this is a problem which is whose solution is long overdue. Long before Lyndon Johnson.
Obesity rate, 1960s.
Leaders were recommending great advances in the field of civil
Americans with
rights,
diabetes.
in the field of health, and things of that nature. I just happen to be the catalyst. We're living in a fast age, and all of us are rather impatient. I am proposing today a new national health strategy. It emphasizes keeping people well, not just making people well.
I do envision the day when we may use the private health insurance system to offer more middle-income families high-quality health services at prices they can afford.
Oh, Jimmy Carter.
Major initiative will meet the most urgent needs in health care of the American people.
Our administration will propose to Congress a comprehensive plan to cover catastrophic
Having up to
illnesses.
$4 billion.
I am proud to have been part of an administration that passed the first catastrophic health bill.
400 billion, 600 billion.
Catastrophic illness costs money.
There are some little known but very important provisions in this new balanced budget that will take us
Louisiana chili dog. Good job, Clinton.
forward in our fight against diabetes.
Diabetes.
Total more than $2 billion.
$2 billion.
The best healthcare decisions are not made by government and insurance companies, but by patients and their doctors.
2.8 trillion. Diabetes.
And you're out there active and you're playing sports and you're out in the playground and doing all those things, not only are you going to have a better life,
Obama.
you're also helping to create a stronger, healthier America. And
Remember
that
this.
saves us money. It means people are not sick as much. It means that our healthcare costs go down. When you roll up at McDonald's, what does Donald Trump order? Fish and rice sometimes. The Big Macs are great. The quarter pounder with cheese. I mean, it's great. The people in the windows be like, "What?" I think all of those places, Burger King, McDonald's, I can live with them. I had the other night. I had Kentucky Fried Chicken. Not the worst thing in the world. If you think it's up to government, you're wrong. If you think it's up to industry, you're wrong. It's up to you. If you're going to make a change, if you're watching this, change right now, tonight. Don't wait until tomorrow. If it's a Friday night, don't say Monday you're going to start. Start now. There's no time better than right now to get your life in order.
After filming completed, Dr. Gary Frigate was cleared of all charges by AHPRA and is now allowed to offer low-carb dietary advice to his patients. So they finally got off his back. In November 2008, results of a $12 million randomized trial on the effects of a low-carb diet were published in BMJ, stating effects of a low-carb diet. Consistent with the carbohydrates insulin model, lowering dietary carbohydrates increase energy during weight loss maintenance. This metabolic effect may improve the success of obesity treatment, especially among those with high insulin secretion. Huh. Look at there. The trial was practically funded by a nonprofit research group, the National Science Industry, co-founded by Gary Tu. Jim Abrahams founded the Charlie Foundation, which is in its 25th year, to help spread the word on the effectiveness of a ketogenic diet on kids with epilepsy. Oh. Charlie Abrams teaching preschool. Look at that. Saved by a diet. And that is it, everybody. That was the final conclusion to Fat, a documentary. So, conclusions, stop with the sugar. Right there and there, first one, stop with the sugar. Just stop. Stop with the sugar, stop with the sugar, stop with the sugar, stop with the sugar. Let me tell you it again. Stop with the sugar, stop with the sugar, stop with the sugar. There we go. Right after that, that should be the number one thing. Okay? No, I don't care what diet you're on, whatever you're thinking about trying, whatever you're thinking about doing, do it right off the bat. You know, there is no real tomorrow, especially nowadays. You know, do it tonight. If you're watching this and you're having something in your hand that you shouldn't be having, throw it away. Trust me, it's still going to be there. Potato chips, cereals, cookies, cakes, candies, Snickers bars, anything you can think of, throw it away. It's still going to be there. It's not going to go anywhere. Sugary drinks, all of that, done. Stop it right now. Stop. Just stop. Oh, God, it just gives me a headache thinking about how long I was so idiotic. Just stop with the sugar. If you want to do a ketogenic diet, perfect. Do it. Figure out what you need to do. You want to do the carnivore diet? Perfect. Do it. Find out what you need to do. You want to do vegetarian, vegan, whatever, fine, do it. Figure out what to do. But make sure you're making the right health choices for you. Okay? You don't have to take my word for it. You don't have to take this documentary's word for it. You don't have to take your doctor's opinion, your friends, whatever. Do it for you. That should be the biggest thing. Go online, go to the library. Can't really go to the library, but go find ebooks, go to Amazon, do whatever you have to do to figure out what it is that's going to make you healthier and better, so you don't have to live on medications, so you don't have to worry about getting your limbs cut off, so that you can know when you wake up in the morning you'll be able to get out of bed on your own and keep living your life and keep moving forward. Figure out what you need to do. And if I'm going to say it again, I know everyone's going to be, if anybody's watching this, they're going to, get rid of the sugar. Just get rid of it. It's always going to be there. It does not have to be a priority, but it should be a priority to take it out of your diet. And, wow, going in 30 minutes. Okay. With that, I hope everyone enjoyed the review that I gave for this. Tomorrow, I'll probably come up with some new ideas. The next documentary I do want to get into is fat fiction. Let's make sure. Get out of this. Got my Amazon Prime list up here. Yes, fat fiction. That's going to be the next one. Okay, fat fiction reveals how the United States government relied on questionable evidence to support one of the most damaging public health recommendations in the history of our country, the low-fat diet. Okay, so that's going to be the next one, and then look, there's more on here. Okay, I'm getting off topic. Yeah, that's going to be the next one I'm going to be reviewing. I do want to watch it. I'm probably gonna watch it tomorrow, and then I'm probably gonna do another video, and then we're gonna start watching it together. But like I always say, everybody, James, the Carnivore Florida Man, Simon, heading out. Like I always say, everybody, if I can do this, you can do it. Stop with the sugar. Figure out what you want to do. Live a better life. Keep moving forward. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.